Senate removes Ndume as chief whip over alleged anti-party activities. Court reinstates Shaibu as Edo deputy governor. Edo State Assembly appeals judgment. University of Ibadan students protest fee hike as President Tinubu launches students' loans platform. On the foreign scene, Hezbollah threatens to target new Israeli sites. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. The lawmaker representing Borno South Senatorial District, Ali Ndume, has been removed as the chief whip of the Senate. The decision was announced on Wednesday after a letter of complaint against Senator Ndume by the leadership of the All Progressives Congress was read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. The letter, signed by the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje and the Secretary, Senator Ajibola Bashir, explained that Senator Ndume, in his capacity as chief whip, has been working to bring down the country through his unguarded utterances. When the matter was put to voice vote by Senator Akpabio, members of the APC Senate caucus endorsed Senator Ndume's removal. He was immediately replaced by his Borno North counterpart, Senator Tahir Monguno.
Instead of hiding behind the veil of grass activism to decimate the hard-earned cohesion and goodwill that our party, the APC, is enjoying within and outside the country. His utterances, which are sheer propaganda, are not based on verifiable facts, are unbecoming of a member of the APC caucus in the Senate of the National Assembly, and it therefore behoves on the APC caucus to bring this to the attention of its members for necessary action to curtail his deliberate mission to undermine the government and the party and the progress of Nigeria.
Joining us via Zoom is Sunday Amos, an anti-corruption campaigner. Sunday Amos, welcome to Trust TV News.
Thank you, Kudu Abubakar. Good evening.
Is this development indicative of anything other than a political realignment by the ruling party, the APC?
No, thank you very much. What we are seeing is the consolidation of the stranglehold of the cabal in the National Assembly. Anybody that comes out, you want to talk, they use a large sledgehammer on you to keep you quiet. You heard from what Akpabio read, that what Ndume has been saying is mere propaganda and unverifiable facts or something like that. A few weeks ago, it was came out and made some allegations, and they used the same sledgehammer on him. So anybody now that has anything to say, any allegation or any corruption to unearth, the next thing is that the leadership of the National Assembly will use a sledgehammer on him so that he will keep quiet and not talk. And then so that anybody who is even thinking of exposing anything, any sleaze that is going on in the National Assembly will become afraid. So this is a continuation of what we are seeing, Kudu Abubakar, and it's very unfortunate that this is what our National Assembly has become.
Well, Nigerians may perceive this development differently, and but many argue that this is purely an APC affair, and the party has the right to act in its own interest. What's your take on this?
Yeah, they may say so, but it is clearly the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob kind of thing that we're seeing in the National Assembly. You cannot come out as a senator and be criticizing the Tinubu administration as a member of the APC, and you think Tinubu will keep quiet. And so we're seeing a situation whereby the executive is not comfortable with the utterances of Ndume, who is a member of the party. And being a member of the party, he's supposed to be observing good table manners, just be eating and be keeping quiet. And you're coming out to be exposing the things that are happening inside. There's no how the executive can be comfortable. There's no how the legislature can be comfortable. So this is the thing that we're seeing outplaying itself.
Well, although you have made allusion to it, but do you really find the utterances of Senator Ali Ndume constituting a problem for the APC that appears to be running low on goodwill?
It is constituting a problem for the APC, but frankly, I have very little sympathy for Ali Ndume. Our people say that he who carries plenty dry grass around his anus should not go about trying to quench fire. Ali Ndume doesn't have any moral authority to be criticizing anything. Somebody who has been in the Senate for over 20 years, always coming back to the Senate under very questionable circumstances during every election. Is it now that Ali Ndume has suddenly become a saint to be identifying corruption and even come out and be talking about it? So the last time I had opportunity to talk about Ibn Abdul Ningi, I keep saying that he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. You cannot be corrupt yourself and you want to expose corruption. It is not going to happen. So people like Ndume should close their mouth. People like Abdul Ningi should close their mouth. Anybody who has not had a clean past should close their mouth. That is why each time a corrupt person comes out to attack other corrupt people, the remaining corrupt people will gang up on him with a sledgehammer to hit him. But if you are clean and you have facts and figures of what you are talking about, you will stand firm, you will expose. But we see people who have corrupt tendency themselves, who are not clean, who don't have their facts, who have not done their homework, and they come out and they say they want to expose corruption in the National Assembly. How can it work? So the whole thing becomes a charade, it becomes a whole joke, and what we are seeing, nothing will come out of it. They will just continue to hit themselves, and the sleaze will continue. So what I am seeing is a shortage of men or women of integrity in the National Assembly who have done their homework, who have facts and figures on Akpabio or on whatever it is that is happening, and they stand their ground. And then they will be able to stand and do the fight. But when we have, maybe the next guy now will be Adams Oshomole, who has a very big mouth himself in the Senate, all of a sudden trying to become a saint. So that's our problem, Mohammed Kuda Abakar. We have people who are not clean, who are trying to fight corruption in the National Assembly. It is not going to happen.
Thank you so much for your comments and perceptions.
Thank you for having me.
Moving on, Nigeria has experienced approximately 604 building collapses between 1974 and May 30th, 2024, according to the latest report from the Building Collapse Prevention Guild. The report highlights that Lagos State accounts for 57.28% of these incidents, with more than 346 buildings collapsing in the past 50 years. In response to this alarming trend, the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria has identified the primary causes of these collapses and provided recommendations for federal, state, and local governments to prevent future occurrences. Neil Sampson has more on this report.
According to the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria's findings, a significant cause of building collapses is attributed to lack of adherence or weak enforcement of standards in planning, design, construction and maintenance of buildings.
Our findings indicate that a major cause of building collapse is traceable to the non-observance, or at best, weak enforcement of standards for planning, design, construction, and maintenance of buildings. This has encouraged quackery among active participants in the building construction process and the proliferation of substandard building materials in the sector. This cause manifests in diverse forms, such as poor construction methodology, use of unqualified and unlicensed personnel, non-adherence to builders' quality management standards and specifications, non-compliance to builders' health and safety standards on building sites, lack of knowledge and experience in building technology, faulty design or design errors, use of poor or substandard building materials, disregard of the use of builders' production management tools and standards.
Against this backdrop, the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria has proposed recommendations aimed at preventing future building collapses that result in the loss of lives and properties.
To stem building collapse, the immediate enforcement of the provisions of Section 2.44 and 2.62 of the National Building Code 2019, which requires the submission and usage on site of builders' construction methodology, builders' project quality management plan, builders' project health and safety plan, building construction program prepared by a registered builder in the construction of building projects. Recommendations to the state governments and local governments. Domestication of the National Building Code by all state governments to ensure sanity and professionalism in the built environment and development throughout the country.
Gaps in building regulations amid lackluster enforcement have seen building collapse become a frequent occurrence despite threats by government to punish violators. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has called for stiffer punishment for violators of construction and building codes in the country as part of efforts to contain the rising cases of collapsed buildings. The resolution was reached in Abuja after senators debated on the collapse of St. Academy in Jos Plateau State, which was brought as a matter of urgent public importance. The report.
The school, which collapsed on July 12th, claimed the lives of 22 students and members of staff, while over 100 others sustained varying degrees of injuries. Senator Dicket Plank, who moved the motion, recalled how the sad incident altered the lives of many parents, families, and the government of the state.
Senate notes with utmost sadness that it was a depressing sightseeing as healthy and agile children who left home to write their examinations in the said school were unfortunately returned to their parents as dead bodies. Senate notes further that this ugly incident of building collapse had been a recurrent decimal in Nigeria as a result of poor workmanship.
In their contributions to the motion, concerned lawmakers suggested drastic actions against building collapse.
The architects that supervise the construction of that building, the building engineers that supervise building should be brought to book. Probably this is the only way we can stop this from happening. Mr. President, we have to save lives and properties of people. Millions of naira have been lost, and hundreds of lives of people have perished because of negligence.
What we can do as a national parliament that regulate the various institutions is to see what we can do to tinker with the law such that if you design a building and you are obliged to supervise the construction, should the building collapse within a certain number of years, you are liable not only to withdraw your license, you are liable to prosecution.
So what we are witnessing here is that people who are employed to render these services, both in the approving authorities and in the construction and the supervision, they have abandoned their duties. And when people are killed, nobody is shown to have been humiliated or punished for professional negligence.
In his remarks, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, also condoled with families of these students, members of staff, government, and people of Plateau over the collapse of St. Academy building in Jos. In addition to observing a minute's silence in honor of the dead, lawmakers are urging the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to send relief to them. The Senate also called on federal government agencies to mobilize to Jos to offer medical care to the victims.
So I want us to condole with all Nigerians, sympathize with the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all Nigerians over the tragic incidents in Jos, not limited to Plateau State alone, but to the whole nation, and pray that God will accept the souls of these children and then condole the families. And at the same time, we must also, as the Senate, take measures to ensure that we enforce these resolutions to avoid further loss of lives through building collapse in Nigeria. This is one incident too many.
The Senate specifically recommended stiffer penalties for anyone involved in violating building regulations, urging the Plateau State government to conduct a full investigation and bring to book all those found culpable.
Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja has reinstated Philip Shaibu as the Deputy Governor of Edo State, months after he was impeached by the State House of Assembly. In Wednesday's judgment, Justice Omotosho declared that the impeachment by the Edo State House of Assembly as illegal, unconstitutional, null and void. The court held that the said impeachment was in gross violation of the provisions of both Sections 188 and 35 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended. Aside from restoring Shuaibu as Deputy Governor, the court also ordered that his salaries and allowances should be paid to him from April when he was impeached as the Deputy Governor of the state. The court issued an order of perpetual injunction restraining Governor Godwin Obaseki and the Edo State House of Assembly from stopping Deputy Governor Shuaibu from performing the functions of his office. Justice Omotosho also ordered the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to restore Shuaibu's security details.
I want to thank the judiciary. I want to thank Justice Omotosho for his courage, and he has restored confidence that truly the judiciary is the glass hope. And as a common person, justice has been done. And I want to thank Edo people. Edo people are Nigerians. Everywhere I went throughout this process, everybody I see, they tell me we are praying for you. I want to tell Edo people and Nigerians that have been praying for me, that God has answered our prayer. So I dedicate this to God and this God. This justice, judgment today, as we have found the foundation of democracy in Nigeria. And it has also sent a message to anti-democratic forces that their time is coming to an end. So democracy must survive in Nigeria. Democracy is going to survive. To Edo people, I will continue to serve you. Everything that I have, and by the grace of God, together I do thank Edo people.
Meanwhile, the Edo State House of Assembly has appealed the judgment of the High Court and has filed a motion for a stay of execution pending appeal. The 3-division Nigerian Army and Operation Safe Haven have declared Fan District in Barikin-led local government area of Plateau State a criminal enclave following the cache of arms and ammunition recovered within a week of operations. The Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, 3 Division, Major A.I. Danja, disclosed this at Fan General Area on Wednesday, while parading 7 suspects in connection with the killings of a senior immigration officer who was also the Assistant Commander of Sector 4, Operation Safe Haven, in Barikin-led local government area. The report.
The Assistant Sector Commander, Christopher Luka, was shot dead in the Fan district of Barikin-led local government area while leading an operation to recover illegal arms from gun runners' hideout at Sangasa village of Fan district on Wednesday last week. According to the spokesperson of the division, the operation, which led to the discovery of cache of weapons, was in pursuance of one of his core operational mandates of mopping up illegal arms and ammunition from the hands of unauthorized persons.
Specifically, the following were recovered during the operation. 1. 16 AK-47 rifles. 2. 16 fabricated AK-47 rifles. 3. 15 den guns. 4. 16 AK-47 magazines. 5. 1 AK-47 drum magazine having capacity to hold 75 rounds of ammunition. The huge recovery of arms and ammunition and other dangerous weapons, as well as military uniforms from Fan District in just 1 week, further affirm that the district is a criminal enclave.
The Nigerian Army also declared 4 persons wanted in connection with criminal activities in the area.
Also, as part of the ongoing effort to arrest criminals complicit in criminal activities in Fan districts and environs, the following persons are hereby declared wanted by the security agencies. Mr. Timothy Zakadong, also known as Timaya. Others include Mr. Sampi, Dachum Job, and Yakubu Ishiaku. Any person with useful information on the whereabouts of the wanted criminals should kindly contact the closest security outpost.
One of the arrested suspects, Washpam, denied any involvement in criminal activities in the area.
An kama ni sai an ce wai in fada inda bindigogi suke. Sai na ce to ni
I was arrested while on my way to the Roa community. I was asked to show where the guns were kept in the community, but I told them I had never used a gun. However, I have seen my friend with one before. When I led them to his house, he was not around. Maybe he hid it somewhere, I don't know. The army assured that they will not be deterred by false propaganda, but will rather remain resolute in its drive to rid the entire joint operations area of crime and criminality. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The new Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 14 in Katsina, Basil Edegu, says the force must change strategy in the fight against banditry if the war must succeed in the Northwest region. AIG Edegu, who was newly posted to Zone 14, said the new strategies must involve engagement with the people from volatile communities, intelligence information gathering and sharing, among others. The police AIG stated this while briefing officers and men of the Katsina State Command of the Nigeria Police Force during a familiarization tour. Abdullahi Yamadi completes the report.
Inspector General, salute! Bring them up!
Katsina and Kaduna make up Zone 14 of the Nigeria Police Force. The two states have been battling with the activities of bandits for over 12 years, leaving in its wake thousands of displaced persons, millions of rustled animals, an unspecified number of properties destroyed, and thousands of residents killed. The police, according to the AIG, should be able to think and act ahead of bandits by acquiring relevant intelligence reports from the various volatile communities, assuring that the narrative will change. The police said if bandits could gather information from those communities and launch attacks, it will be easier for the police and other security agencies. The AIG also added that in the course of his stay in Katsina, he will prioritize training and retraining of personnel that will fight bandits in conformity with Counter-Terrorism Act and standards.
I want to thank the CP and the officers of this command that in spite of the daunting challenges, we have not given up hope. I see the effort you are making, how you have been able to thwart some cases of kidnapping and banditry activities. These are commendable. and I'm here to commend your effort. I still want to urge you to do more because the situation is quite terrifying.
The Katsina State Commissioner of Police, Aliu Abubakar, said although the command has been battling with banditry, significant achievements have been recorded by the command.
Over 100 suspects were arrested in connection with various offenses. 107 kidnapped victims were successfully rescued unhurt. As over 5 suspected armed bandits were neutralized during the course of several successful operations. 2 AK-47 rifles recovered, 15 rounds of 7.62 mm live ammunition, 32 suspected rustle animals were recovered, 4 operational motorcycles of the bandits, and 3 mobile phones were recovered.
The Katsina Police Boss is optimistic that the deployment of the new AIG Basil to Zone 14 is an indication that the war against banditry will soon be over, considering his vast experience and commitment to duty. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Borno State Command of the Nigeria Police Force says it has identified those behind next month's proposed national protests against economic hardship in the country. The State Commissioner of Police, Yusuf Mohammed, disclosed this at a peace-building meeting in Maiduguri. He noted that the faceless group behind the planned protests has political affiliation but disguising as civil organizations. He revealed that one of the sponsors assigned to conduct and lead the protest in Borno State has been apprehended by its operatives. The police commissioner warned against unlawful protest in the state and urged the people of Borno to report suspicious gatherings to the police.
Experience has shown that in Nigeria there is no history of peaceful protests. All forms of protests are being hijacked for selfish or ulterior motives. This faceless group, through our intelligence, we are able to establish their identity. They are sponsored, they have political alignment, they are partisan, and with your kind permission, Your Excellency, let me avail us with the name of this group. One is organized Abuja-led groups. The other one is Joint Action Fronts, JAF. Then, of course, there is Campaign for Democratic and Workers' Rights. Then there is Omoloye Somore-led Revolutionary Movement.
Thousands of students at the University of Ibadan have protested against a hike in school fees and other issues as early as 8 in the morning this Wednesday. The visibly angry students moved in large numbers to all the entrances of the institution and blocked them. Both academic and non-academic staff were locked outside the gates. After blocking all the entrances, they moved from one faculty to the other to ensure that academic activities were totally paralyzed. The students, who warned sternly that there should be no video recording of the protests, explained that the school management has not been fair to them. The school fees is reported to have been increased from around 78,000 naira to between 200,000 naira and 300,000 naira.
In this university, let there be light, consistent one, please.
We are not stopping this protest. They continue to tell us to be calm and patient. There's something will be done, but they continue to issue threats.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has launched the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, a few weeks after he approved 35 billion naira for the scheme's takeoff, targeting 70,000 initial applicants. Launching the portal at the council chambers of the State House, Abuja, President Tinubu promised to forge inclusiveness and ensure provision of sufficient funds to sustain the scheme. Speaking to newsmen at the State House, Abuja, after the ceremony, the Managing Director, CEO of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Akitunde Soya, said the portal has received more than 110,000 loan applications so far. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The student loan scheme seeks to provide financial support, including school fees and stipends, to eligible students nationwide. Over 1.2 million applicants are expected to benefit from the first phase of the program. Handing out symbolic checks to students in some institutions, President Tinubu stressed that education was the greatest weapon against poverty, insecurity, and abuse in society.
If we have a successful inclusiveness and the loan that is necessary for our people to get educated and invest in their own life, we will have built a fair society and a promise that we and a banner without stain to our children.
The beneficiaries are in two categories: institutions at which benefiting students will study, which will receive tuition fees, and the beneficiaries who will receive a direct disbursement of funds that will cover accommodation and feeding.
You apply for the institutional loan, your fees are paid, or you get approval for the fees being paid. You can then apply for a monthly stipend or for a stipend that covers your time there. That goes directly to the student if they are successful. Just to clarify, one is contingent on the other, so you can't get the stipend unless your fees are being paid and you're going to an institution.
The NEL Fund boss is also clarifying that the loans are open to not just indigent students, but all that apply and are found eligible.
The law says that we should provide these loans to people who need the loans. It doesn't actually specify that they have to be indigent. However, today, I tend to segment students in Nigeria into three categories: those who go and study abroad, those who go to private universities in Nigeria, and those who are in the state sector. I think it's a fairly safe bet to assume that those who are in the state sector are the ones that are most needy. The fees are low, the class sizes are very large. It's very difficult for most people.
To provide a balance, the fund may in the future factor in the concerns of students in private institutions who might, for one reason or the other, be compelled to apply for the loan. At the moment, NEL Fund has received more applications from institutions in the northern part of the country, with 80.2% being male, while 19.8% are female. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, low patronage slowing down business operations for Kaduna artisans. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Senate removes Senator Ndume as chief whip over alleged anti-party activities. And the court reinstates Shaibu as Edo State Deputy Governor, while the Edo State House of Assembly appeals the judgment. Moving on, in an increasingly digital world where connectivity is key to economic growth and social development, Nigeria faces significant challenges with its internet infrastructure. From urban centers to rural communities, poor internet connectivity persists as a major barrier hindering progress and opportunity. Trust TV's Dorcas Yakubu in this report speaks to an expert on the implications of the trend on Nigeria's economy.
Nigeria, with a population exceeding 200 million, stands as one of Africa's largest economies and a hub for technological innovation on the continent. Internet user penetration in Nigeria saw a modest increase between 2018 and 2022, rising from around 26% to over 38%. As of 2022, the estimated number of internet users in the country surpassed 83 million. According to Statista, the share of the Nigerian population using the internet is expected to grow to approximately 48% by 2027. Despite these gains, internet connectivity remains a significant hurdle. Nigerians frequently raise complaints about poor connectivity and exorbitant data charges, highlighting the ongoing challenges in the country's digital landscape.
When you recharge, before you know it, the money will just vanish, most especially data. If you buy data and if you do not use it, maybe your phone have faults or something like that, it will just, like throughout yesterday I was calling and it was bouncing back. People are trying to reach me, they could not get me.
We are suffering. Data is quite expensive in Nigeria, and mind you, data is supposed to be for business. Do you understand? People that do business with data, what do you think about them? What do you think of them? Their income is not coming. Everybody is complaining. So it is quite expensive. So we want something to be done about it. Imagine, sometimes you do subscription on your own data and you can't even have value for it. You can't even access the internet, but you have gigs. They are ripping us in Nigeria. They are ripping us. Anybody that is not ready to live up to expectation should go away from the system.
While they attribute the problem to inadequate government policies, experts say poor internet connectivity in Nigeria is primarily due to infrastructure vandalism, poor infrastructure, and lack of investment.
Some of this internet can only be provided everywhere in the country when we have the right infrastructures. You and I know that Naira has lost significantly its value, and as a result, making business even more difficult. Providing internet and providing infrastructure is a very capital intensive, and there's no way you will be able to do this if you have this kind of forex fluctuation that is bedeviling the country. The challenge of security is almost like between 80 to 90% of most of the telecom infrastructure that tends to deliver quality internet. The investment in this sector is also limited, given the fact that people are looking for quick money, and then the return on investment for this kind of investment tend to take some time.
He further urged people to regulate their mobile phone usage, emphasizing the need for internet literacy.
People need to really help themselves, because we are handling devices now that have applications that help us to consume internet. The need for people to also be educated, be enlightened, to understand what we call the internet literacy or digital literacy on how even best to use your internet and manage it is very key and sacrosanct.
The struggle with internet connectivity in Nigeria reflects broader challenges faced by developing countries striving to bridge the digital divide. While progress has been made, significant barriers remain, particularly in rural and underserved areas. Addressing these challenges will require sustained commitments from the government, private sector stakeholders, and international partners to ensure that all Nigerians can benefit from the opportunities of the digital age. By overcoming these obstacles, Nigeria can unlock its full potential as a regional leader in technology and innovation, driving economic growth and improving the quality of life for its citizens. Dorcas Yakubu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Cobbling and shoemaking are two of the oldest professions in the world, and Nigeria in particular, from the era that human beings discovered the use of shoes. While shoemakers make new ones, cobblers repair existing shoes or shoes that are already used, making both businesses go hand in hand. Some cobblers venture into shoemaking with the passage of time. However, with the present economic downturn in the country, Trust TV's Bello Musa reports that some people are resorting to repairing old shoes instead of buying new ones, thereby negatively impacting on the shoemaking industry. His report.
Nigerian shoemakers have been making shoes not only for local use, but for others outside the country, with some competing with foreign products. Normally, I produce like 300 to 500 pairs of shoes per month, while in a day, I can make at least 15 pairs. Despite importation of footwears into the country, shoemakers in Nigeria have been competing favorably to the extent that some prefer homemade shoes. Local shoes are affordable, and I enjoy using them. The imported ones are expensive and are not even durable, so it is good to encourage local producers by patronizing them. It is necessary for us to buy locally made shoes because one can buy 3 pairs with the same money spent on buying 1 pair of imported shoes. The rising cost of living is affecting the purchasing power of many Nigerians, including those patronizing homemade shoes, as many have resorted to fixing their old shoes as they can't afford the new ones. Before now, people could buy new shoes on a regular basis instead of repeating their old shoes over and over again. But now, due to the hardship, people are managing their old shoes. During the last Salah celebration, many people brought their old shoes here for repairs because they could not afford the new ones. To be honest, customers now prefer repairing their old shoes instead of buying new ones due to the present economic situation in the country. The harsh economic environment in the country is affecting both shoemakers and cobblers, who are lamenting the surge in the price of materials. The cost of living is affecting our business. For instance, what we used to buy at the cost of 100 naira is now 300. Our biggest challenge now is cost of materials and also low patronage. In the past, I could sell 300 pairs in 6 weeks, but now the patronage is low. Umar's dream is to graduate from being a cobbler to a shoemaker like Yusuf. Bello Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
Nigerians, including residents of Benue State, have continued to lament the high cost of transportation in the country. Most are wondering when the masses of Nigeria will begin to feel the impact of palliative distribution by the federal and state governments. Jimmy Azande has the report.
While the Benue State government has slashed down transportation costs for intercity shuttles, it is not the same situation for intra-city travels. Students, artisans, market women and workers in the private and public sectors in the capital, Makurdi said the cost is biting harder on the masses.
So now, but the way I'm feeling now, like now, for me to go from here now just to BSU gate and then they'll be telling me 300 naira. Okay, now, if you can calculate that 300 naira in 7 days, that is 300 times 7, it's almost 2,100 naira for just a week. And I, as a student, and especially all students that are just dependent on our parents and don't have any side work to do.
As a student, it has not been easy on me. The thing has been tiring. Like before, if I want to come to school, I will use like 15 naira transport myself from house to my house to school. But these days now, before I can come from my house to school, it's very, very difficult. Bike man now will be charging me like 200, 150.
The motorcycle owners are also justifying the hike. They say though the premium motor spirit is valuable, the pump prices have continued to soar in the state.
As our new government can come and sit now, everything does change, especially in the area of fuel. And as Makadi, as a case study, when you go to fuel station, you buy some fuel station, they said 850 naira, some 900, and some even open their fuel station. So now, my question is, if the fuel stations are not open, based on the hike of price of fuel, how manage with the common man operate?
Advice to
fellow Nigerians, especially the ones in Benue, Makurdi precisely, I want to advise us to try to find means of survival. It all boils down to the government. The skyrockets in price of fuel, the hike in fuel prices has affected the means of transportation so badly that the common man hardly affords now. Let's say, for example, someone like a student, me, I'm coming from North Bank to BSU, it's quite bad. Like, you have to spend like almost 1,500 every day, which is...
Many residents have now resorted to long-distance trekking in order to alleviate the cost of transportation. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Let's join Yusuf Akogu for business news.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has downgraded its forecast for Nigeria's economic growth in 2024 to 3.1%, citing weaker growth recorded in the first quarter of the year. The new forecast was contained in the July 2024 World Economic Outlook of the IMF released on Tuesday. The downgrade represents 0.2 percentage points below the earlier forecast of 3.3%. The downgrade followed weaker than expected gross domestic product (GDP) and growth recorded by the country in the first quarter of 2023. IMF, however, retained its 3.0% forecast for Nigeria's economic growth in 2025. The federal government, through the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, has mandated all government-owned ministries, departments, agencies to remit 5% retention fee deducted from contractors' payment to the Central Bank of Nigeria. A memo signed by the Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madeyin, said the move became necessary following complaints over non-payment of retention fees by MDAs upon completion of projects by contractors. The memo, which was made public on Wednesday, was dated June 27, 2024 and addressed to the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, all ministers, special advisors, service chiefs, foreign missions, amongst others. The retention fund is a form of security provided for any construction contract as limited security for due performance of the contractor's obligations under the contracts. NGX closed in red as mixed sentiment trades stocks. Investors are shifting focus to fixed income securities. Let's see how it went down today. Leading the losers there is RTB Square down 5.71% to close at 66 kobo per share. Of course, FTN Cocoa also down 4.44% to close at 1 naira and 72 kobo per share. Of course, Tantalizer PLC down as well 4.26% to close at 45 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed down the market downward by marginally, though you will say 0.1% in terms of volume of trade. Over a billion volume of shares were traded today, valued at 10.07 billion naira in a list of 8,720 did exchanges among investors this Wednesday. The top trading equities in terms of volume, Jais Bank leading that table 528.490 million shares it traded this day. Curtis Nigeria PLC 194.643 million shares. Of course, Zenith Bank 77.751 million shares it traded at the close of business this Wednesday. Of course, some equities ended on the gaining side of the market. Leading that table is UCAP. UCAP gained 10% to close at 36 naira and 30 kobo per share. Of course, AfriProd also up 9.88% to close at 8 naira and 90 kobo per share. Of Curtis Nigeria PLC up 9.86% to close at 6 naira and 13 kobo per share there. That's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Wednesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil price rose on Wednesday, a day after benchmark Brent hit a one-month low as a decline in US oil stock price and a weaker dollar overshadow signs of weakening demand in China. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $84 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, price drops by over 2%. And that's business. I am Yusuf Ako.
On the foreign scene, Hezbollah has warned that it will find new targets for its rocket attacks should Israeli attacks continue to target civilians in Lebanon. The Lebanese armed group's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, issued the threat during a televised address on Wednesday. His words have further increased concerns that the low-level conflict that Israel and the Iran-aligned group have pursued since the start of the war in Gaza could escalate towards a full-scale war. Noting that 8 non-combatants were killed in Israeli attacks on Lebanon in recent days. Nasrallah further threatened that the civilian bloodshed will see Hezbollah fire at new Israeli towns. 5 civilians, including 3 children, were killed in Israeli raids in Lebanon on Tuesday. At least 3 Lebanese civilians were killed the day before, according to state media and security sources. Israel has said that it is striking Hezbollah fighters and infrastructure in Lebanon and does not target civilians. Time now to join Adeniyi Ajisafe for the latest in sports.
Team Nigerian athletes going to the 2024 Olympics and Paralympic Games are being charged to be conversant with the rules of the games to enable them record podium finishes. Speaking on the topic, Olympic spirit and global peace, lead speaker Clement Fason commended the organizer of the seminar, noting that the event coming in an Olympic month will get the athletes adequately prepared for the challenges ahead. Fason urged athletes and coaches to be mindful of their nutrition, training schedule, constant changes in the rules of the games, and also strive to be at their best at all times. He cautioned them against vices that could tarnish Nigeria's image at the games. Director General, Nigeria Institute of Sports Olawale Moronkola and Joy Mayaki reminded coaches to prioritize strategies and tactics, have free flow of communication with athletes, ensure situation awareness, changes in rules, as well as avoid acts that could lead to distraction. Mayaki reminded athletes to stay off drugs, know the type of supplement they take, watch their nutrition, maintain team spirit, and avoid unnecessary fear of opponent and stress. Karfi local government area has emerged winners of the Langa Turanshi event at the ongoing Bauchi State Sport Festival holding at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bauchi. Winners, Karfi local government, were decorated by former Super Eagles player Patrick Pascal, who doubles as chairman Bauchi State Football Association, while the director of sport Usman Yusuf decorated second place Bauchi local government area. Captain of the team appreciated the chairman Karfi local government area for supporting the team financially and called for continuity of the sports festival.
It's not easy, but we thank God the game was very good and we play very well, and at the end of the day we become victorious. So as that is the management of the team, the captain of the Kirfi local government, we want to thank our chairman for supporting us and everything that he did for us, and the competition was so good that at the end of the day we become victorious in Langa, in Kawoshi, in Tureshi game we become first, and we thank God.
Bauchi local government placed second position, while Dambam local government finished third in an event which had Langa players participating from the 20 local government areas in Bauchi State. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajisafe.
Sports News concludes News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Muhammad Kudu Abubakar. Thank you for watching our work.